And in those committees, they move work forward. Work is moving forward. So it's been a grassroots organizing model that we have been doing here. And so that's been the structure that have been taken. You know, all of the different treaty councils have their protocols. The IRA government have their protocols. All of the different protocols that are in place through the different decision-making bodies of our people. Our ask has been to get support from those decision-making bodies for this. And the Black Hills Sioux Nation Treaty Council has been the one that has been leading the way on that. Meaning that if we didn't get the consent of the Black Hills Sioux Nation Treaty Council, the first meeting would have never happened. There never would have been a first meeting. And that part's really important because when we talk about the erosion of the rights of our people, free and prior informed consent is important. That was the decision-making body that was in place to help move this forward. And then, because if they said no, we wouldn't even have worked on this. And then, from that point on, bringing in other decision-making bodies, because we know that there's several different treaty councils, there's different Tiospayes, there's different tribal governments, and because we know that this can only be accomplished, it can only be accomplished if the grassroots people, the treaty councils, and the IRA governments collaborate with each other, because what we're proposing is an act of Congress. An act of Congress to return the public lands in the Black Hills, which is 80% of the Black Hills, to be clear. 80% of the Black Hills is public lands. So I'll say that much at this time, just reminding folks about the meetings. We're gonna hear the report backs from the different committees. But one of the things that was really important, and we have a special announcement that's gonna be coming from the Hunkpapa here shortly. So Lakshmi Cedric and the Hunkpapa have something that they want to share. And the thing that I'll say is that it's important for us to get written consent from our tribes and from our treaty councils. And so the different so this next era of work that we're heading into is for the people to do that. But our strategy has always been, we're not sending people from different tribes to go to this tribe or to this tribe or to this tribe to move that forward. We're inviting people from those bands and those tribes to be in this meeting, to be a part of this process. And then the members of those tribes and those bands, if they want their leaders to take something forward, then we have them do that. If that makes sense. The Hunkpapa have been organizing up there. Oglala's been organizing, the Sichangu, the Minikoju, all the bands. But even though it's a slower process, it's important because the people who those tribal leaders are accountable to need to hear from the people from their community, need to hear from the people, the elders in their community, need to hear from the treaty councils and the grassroots people from their community. And so that's been ongoing. Many of this, there's a draft resolution going around, getting support for the Black Hills Sacred Lands Restoration Act. And to be clear, again, this didn't come from an outside force. There's no outside force that exists that was pushing this. This came from the people. And we went to ceremony. In fact, there's people from the spiritual committee, who today are visiting some of the sacred sites because that was what was told in ceremony while this meeting is happening. And we'll hear from the spiritual committee about that later too. So that's the that's the purpose of the meeting. That's a little bit of the background. But before we start getting into the different updates from the committees, we wanted to hand it over to the Hunkpapa and let them share some of the work that they've been working on up in their homelands.
Okay, that'll be Cedric Goodhouse and Sissy Goodhouse. Updates on Standing Rock, Hunkpapa, Buka Elialo.
I learned something from the workshop this morning, so. Where do I start, you know? I wanted to, I wanted to first introduce my wife. Somebody said tomorrow's Father's Day, so one day she woke up and she said, "Wichasha, kikita." She said, what you gonna do for me today? I said, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be a father. So ever since then, Father's Day has always been shared, and Mother's Day has been special for her. So, but you know, when I first came to these meetings, we listened to when we first started coming to these meetings, we listened to all that's being said and all that's being asked for, and to be more involved with our people. And you know, we took that to heart, because I'm in my 70s now, and I've been through other attempts, and our biggest downfall is ourselves. And I didn't want that to happen again. And I think that the approach that we're doing here is that when we showed up, you can't show up and be a watcher. You have to be part of the movement. You're on a committee, and you're offering whatever it might be, you know, to further this cause. When I went home, I went to, we got together, took all the information, and we went to our judicial committee, and we talked to them, because you have to go through